Hello and welcome to another episode from the Water's Edge. Today you catch up with us on a relatively short session, but hopefully one of the sweetest ones for me personally. Because today we're having a few hours perch fishing. Now personally I'm no perch connoisseur myself, I've done a little bit and we've already done a video on perch fishing, but to be honest with you, from as long as I can remember I've always wanted to catch like 1/2 pound, like a real specimen size perch. So that's what we're here today for. Now why we're here is because, to be honest with you, I actually work with a really nice chap called Andy Hull who's been fishing this particular lake. It's only small, but it holds some big fish, and he's actually been having 3 or 4 sessions over the last 2 or 3 weeks catching some real big perch. I think one even might have tipped over £3, which, I mean, I'm not even going to dream of that, but I'm just on a quest to catch myself a £2 perch. Now we had a little chat with Andy, we've picked his brains about where he fished, how he fished, what bait he uses, and we have arranged to hopefully go and have a session with Andy. But me being eager hearing about this story of these perch that he's been catching, I wanted to get out and give it a go myself. So this is what we're here today for, and we've got a couple of rods that we're going to be fishing with. Now we already had, oh, I don't believe it, we've hooked the fish. Sorry about that. We'd already had this rod out on the sleeper, and I was then going to get my float rod in that I was fishing with that got rudely interrupted. So we are connected to, oh, he's just dropped off. I can't believe it. Oh, that was a nice fish. I'll just put that back down there. So that's the first bit of action. So that was a good fish. But what I was then going to say, we're going to get both rods out again in a minute, but we've got one rod here which is just on alarm on a bog standard running rig setup, and that's the one that we've just lost that fish on, and that has really annoyed me, to be honest. I had a little glimpse of it. That was a nice fish. And then this rod here that we've got is just on like a traditional slider, so you've got like a big bulk of shot. It's a big waggler, 3 AAA, and then if I just take the bail arm off and slide it up, because the thing is it's very deep here and it's very tough to fish traditional wagglers. And speaking to Andy, this is how he's been doing it, fishing a slider, and then because you can just fish them extra depth, I mean we've probably got 13-14 foot at some places, and to fish that with a normal waggle would be a real nightmare. So coming up the line is just 2 BBs, and this is what we call like the cast off shot from fishing the traditional slider float. So this would be set about 8 foot from a hook, which is a nice casting distance, which will then slide up to a snot dot, which is further down the line, which is here, which is just a sliding stop knot, which I've already set at the depth there. And then before we started the session, before we got this rod out and the float rod, what we've done is we made a little mix up in here, which is a little bit of chopped prawn, we've chopped some lobworms up, a few dead maggots, and then that's all being carried in just some molehill soil. The reason for that is twofold. It helps me get it out to a little bit of distance. We're probably fishing 2 or 3 rod lengths out, and then also it helps me just get everything to the bottom. There's a lot of roach in here, and also throughout the session I'm going to be throwing a few maggots in as well, just dead maggots to get them little fish attacking, which hopefully are going to attach to big perch. So like I said, I'm certainly no expert at this. I know a little bit about it, and I've really been picking Andy's brains about it as well. So before we actually go out and have a masterclass with himself, we're going to come out and hopefully try and catch one of over £2. That's the target anyway. I think that might have been close, but I'm not going to give up. There's still plenty of time. Now we've got probably 2 hours left worth of fishing. Having a word with Andy, speaking to him, he's been fishing all day, catching absolutely nothing. Gets to 4 o'clock when the sun starts slightly getting behind them trees, and he's had 5 or 6 perch in an hour, so it makes a really big difference. It gets dark nowadays about 6 o'clock, so 3:30 now, we've got 2.5 hours maybe to catch these fish in. So that's what we're hoping for. A little bit about the tactics we're doing and the baits we've got. Now all the case is, I suppose, of let's not lose the next one, let's try and get one on the bank. So I'm just going to hook this up now. On the ledgered rod down there we've got a bit of prawn, just hair rigged, and then on this one we've got a big nice juicy lobworm, hook straight through the saddle, and then show plenty of hook out the other side as well. So that's bait 1, and prawn is bait 2. Let's get that out there and see if we can possibly have a bit more success. Like I said, not too far out, it's probably 2 or 3 rod lengths. Just going to sink that line, let the line out so your slider works properly, and that can sit on the rest, ready to go again. I'm going to chill out for a bit before I get that rod out, perhaps sit and see what I've done wrong, but never mind, we've had a little bit of encouragement. Well, we've managed to get our first bite. Fish coming to the net now. Oh, it's quite a nice one. I don't know if it's the magical £2, but it's a nice fish. Well, I don't quite believe it. In the quest for me to catch my first £2 perch, and the first perch we catch is just over £2.6. The scales went. We'd already zeroed the net, so that is his true reading, and we'll show you that at the end just to make sure of it. But calm down. But let's just see if we can hold him up, because perch, to be honest, of £2 plus is relatively rare. And like I said earlier, I know Andy, who tipped us up for this little lake here with the perch, has had them to nearly 3 and one just tipping over 3. So by any means it's not the biggest one in here, but that's certainly the biggest perch I've ever caught. And the quest to catch a £2 lasts about 30 minutes. Hopefully there's some more out there for us. We've got a good hour and a half, 2 hours of daylight left. Like I said, it all happens in the last little knock-ins, so there's plenty of chance for another one, but I don't want to keep him out too long. We've had a couple of little stills with him, so I think it's about time we just popped him back to his home and we'll get another bait out there. I'm seriously chuffed with that one. Let's get him back. Well, to be honest with you, things don't normally go to plan for us straight away. But that is a little bit of magic, and if I don't catch another perch today, I really don't mind. What a start. But let's get another bait out there. You never know. Well, the float's buried again. Boy, this is putting up a good scrap. Now, perch notoriously aren't massive fighters, so I'm hoping... Oh, it's a nice one again. Just going to get down here and net him. Lobworm's just hanging out of his mouth. Well, that is another chunky looking perch. Let's just bring him on the mat. It's a little bit awkward where we are. We're fishing on the end of the staging, and actually the rain has just stopped, but we're sitting under a brolly as well. But to be honest with you, when you're catching perch like this, does it really matter? And there we are. Look, oh, that was lucky. The worm was just hanging out of its mouth. And another cracking fish. I don't quite think he's as big. He's not quite as big across the shoulders, but let's get him on the scales and see what this one does. Right, well, moment of truth. Oh wow, actually I said the fish might be smaller. It's actually reading slightly bigger. This is just over 2.8. I don't know, you probably be tough to see that on camera, but it's about 2.8, so 2 ounces over. I didn't look quite as big, but the scales never lie. He's certainly had a bit of a chunk out of his fin gone as well, but it's almost unbelievable. Like I said, you search for him for 3 or 4 years. I've been after a £2 perch, and like I said, it's just get the right place, the right time and the right information, and you get 2 at once. Cracking fish, cracking day. I don't care about the rain. The lower's stopped now. I could catch these forever. But let's slip him back, let's not keep out too long. We've still got probably a good hour or so of light left as well, so we're in no hurry to get home, that's for sure. Let's slip him back. Just hold him there and let him recover. Shark-like fin sticking out of the water. I'm not going to let him go until he's ready. He was certainly ready to go. Right, we're just going to get another bait out there. There's certainly been more action on the float, apart from that lost run earlier. It's been pretty quiet down that edge there with the prawns. But if I'm in all honesty, I'd rather catch them on the float. I mean, the bites are, just as you can probably imagine, really slow but really positive. That float sits there and just slowly slides away, and you almost know what it's going to be. And as soon as you pick that rod tip up, you know exactly what it is. So I'd actually prefer catching them the way we are catching them. Just a quick little flick out by the side of the brolly, bring it in, let that line out so the slider cocks under the weight, and then the shot just slowly take it to the bottom. And I've been trickling maggots over both swims just slowly throughout the day, I'll say throughout the day, through the last, what have we been here, 45 minutes or so. But yeah, just every 5 to 10 minutes, just a little handful, and I've kept a little bit of that mix we mixed up earlier as well going in. So hopefully that's keeping a lot of activity going round, and it's certainly proving well at the moment. Like I said, that's 2 fish now over £2. Personally, it's, for me, unexpected. I know some of you probably fish waters that have huge perch in, but like I said, for me personally, and my own little goal, everyone has their own little goals and the PBs, and I've beat mine today. You can't complain about that. So I'm just going to sit back now and watch this float again. This light's slowly fading, which is nice. It means probably even more chance for a perch. And certainly, for me, it's just nice being out again on the bank. Well, there's fish number 3. That makes the hat trick. He's definitely smaller this time. I know I said it last time, but let's get him out and have a look at him. See if I can whip that hook out. That's why it's good having this mat here. Just keep him calm. Let's hold him up. Now he's probably, well, he's certainly over £1. He might even be £1.50. I think we're getting a bit too confident now, not weighing this. But I mean, previously I would have been chuffed to catch that. But you know, when them days where everything just goes wrong, we've all had them. Well, today everything's just gone right, and they're certainly few and far between. So when you do get the days, it's time to make the most of it, enjoy the fishing. And these are the days we come out for. Let's slip him back as well. Well, I'm well and truly hiding away under the brolly now. The heavens have really opened. It's been drizzling for the last couple of hours, but now it is really rain. You can probably hear it on the brolly as well. But the light's fading. It's looking really good for a bite. I don't want to be greedy because it's been great. Oh, let's switch it. Been great already, but I'm going to hang it out. We've probably got about 20 minutes left before it gets completely too dark to see. And this is probably the best 20 minutes of fishing. So if we've had fish prior to this, I'm praying for another one more fish, but I'm not finishing early after the last hour's fishing that we've had. So it's just a case of tucking myself under here, trying to stay a bit warm. The temperature's dropping, but I'm hopeful for one more bite. Well, as you can see, that proved to be the end of the perch fishing. We fished on until, well, pretty much we couldn't see anymore, and nothing happened at all really, but there's no complaining about that session. We've fished for, what, 2.5, possibly 3 hours. We've had 2 fish over 2, which was my main target today. One probably just under, and then a little one we didn't show you on camera. So, brilliant bit of action, and it's not every day you can go out and catch a PB and also specimen fish size on camera. It's really good to finally catch some, like, what we call big fish within the species that we're talking about. I'd like to say a big thanks to Andy Hull. Obviously without him we probably wouldn't have been down here putting that sort of size fish on camera. So as we did say earlier on, this was a nice little short session just to see if we could go and catch a 2-pounder. What we did say is we'd probably get Andy down here and we'll talk a bit more into detail about exactly why we're using these rigs, why we're using these baits, and why we're fishing where we are. It's good to get it from someone who's done it for a long while, and you get spot on correct information then. I mean, like I said, I've caught plenty of fish today and I probably know enough, but why not? If you've got that information there, why not use it? But that all being said, I hope you've enjoyed today's session as much as I have catching those fish today. And as always, I'd like to thank you for watching, and we'll see you again on the next one.